OKFM 101.7.
Lawyer Gordon Edudzi Tamakloe, my former president John Dramani Mahama, legal practitioner. Me mo acha no pen.
Onunya for tickets here no prime minister.
Na boko de.
Obu ade adaro ma bra kwame.
Ma misa. Arise Ghana for. Nra moko court una na odi wo manimu na.
Okay.
Na ehun asem si se kakra ada ma kakra bi abeka bia ini se court nti.
Yes, so bra kwame enra no pre you go pie mu court. The ecoba no say o hwe ya about a month ago, that's on the first day of June in the leadership of Arise Ghana Shock and command the police are on form of pursuant to the Public Order Act. No, and you have to notify the police officer on your demonstrate and I say which you Sanamo. A manager say my 5 days, but Arise Ghana for no years so Obama police for no more than 20 days notice. So mobilizing logistics and all of those things on which me easily. Enough time for planning in terms of the security deployment among other things. In the ECOBAS, there has been this back and forth. Surprisingly, on 23rd, I said I know the more will happen today. Thursday, now Omoko filing application at the High Court restrain the organizers of the demonstration. And idea on which we are demonstrating 24 hours, and that it not demonstrate beyond 3 p.m. And Brekwa Arise Ghana going so they two to on person then up to 10 p.m. Sebi Ghana demonstration here na najo a year new okaya Emra Ibonel in the morning can here they said so much stop the home in the night. What kinds were or my muha. As for the demonstration, different types of see. Into Ecobas, Jensu responded to from a claim. Now the police found they go to ya. I will fortunate to say. And then terrorism and possible. I will West African South region. Now, because of that, demonstration the night. The which is the security issues among others. In the Emman court, we will say, first of all, can go up to 10. Police force so initially, so the monument for 48 hours. Almost only the kind of logistics. Which may provide the continuous 24 hours. And it's okay, sir. So the affair here closely at 10 p.m. Then the next day, near Betwa. And also, almost 10 p.m. Away and a whole lot of it. You could pay more court and run. And run on the court, the service. The issue about the right to demonstrate. Around 93, MPP for a year say Omoko celebrate. That time not for Dankwa Bunja Club. Omu say Omoko celebrate the over friend of JB Dankwa birthday. That JB. Last minute, then IGP withdraw permit. So permit withdrawal on a man, a committee in MPP going to the Supreme Court. Okaya case of MPP versus IGP. Incidentally, a lawyer for now, Omujina Muma MPP, distinguished lawyer Peter Lajedi, Nanadu Dado,
okayfm
Samokujitu,
101.7.
our work closely, Gloria Kufu, Omujina Muma MPP. In 1993, Emra Edudzi the court. Emma court no Ejina Mokan. The right to demonstrate a fundamental say Obama power to control our proper better exercise that constitutional right. Once that provision is not in the constitution, that now a war the then public order act and I say and no and the average do something so yeah and then will be to be demonstrated and manage over notified Ghana police and I for back and forth now court mechanism. Remember court the debut service. Yes, there is no doubt that terrorism, incidents of terrorism in Africa and South region. But the whole idea is that we could have demonstration in the night for Ghana, the which made terrorists act up a farfetch and a scheme by the Ghana to play on the emotional keyboards of the courts. And then they said, who could not judge now or terrorism? And then it came out clearly in court. That's not true. There's terrorism, you know, and that even the word terrorism, all these things in court. So quite clearly, now the 8 p.m. now the court has to the police for at 3 p.m. Well, I'll use my discretion and extend it to 4 p.m. Into a could see no problem.
Now, what would the law?
Yes, sir.
What's the Gabi a treaty here at the fan Facebook page? Now, at then a 11, who crowd can Mundia because they say 10% dependence say says here book.
Oh, brother.
Oh,
Brother.
law.
No cranny,
Law.
I'm a law-abiding citizen of the republic. When we say 11 grammar on one transaction, 45 Ghana cedis. Because next to me, the agent my mama our board. Agent. 7. Yeah, my man, or more.
And not one outside.
No, I am but not I say.
Oh, but so I nyadi that na send it. Afi ade ba ya send me ente wo a. Kan.
No, an American so. And yen run oh, I buy no and bia na why would you agency my mean so more on when you say na emergency is about I can about factors who vehicle way. To not say one dinner on one transaction 45 Ghana. I mean, it gives you maybe a law abiding citizen. What I say, once the thing is part of the laws of this country, you have to abide by it. But you see, brother, one Nebuchadnezzar, how about brother, so kind of Nebuchadnezzar.
Aye.
What kind of year? So kind of year.
Aye.
One who here, Jay, a year no. Hand time. Some hand time home. The Dorewa. She knew a bit me I until I hear the bow. Look, Ghana for civil society group. I can't be dear that thing, he said. Look, one, economic conditions in the country and yet conditions for further imposition of tax. Brother, yes, I'm able to say there are governing principles of taxation, the different of canons of taxation, and all these juncture, brother, I mean, first that I see Emma Dr. Banwa on the chair of public finance and Brandon University of Ghana economic department. One of the things another they all can say a tax law or said what the tax will be the bar. One of the canons that SCM fulfilling is the principle of fairness. Back when Mr. Bill, when we say by reason of this illness, Okudum now we say over for a year with mobile mania, Obeja home. But so would you have fiscal cash? Won't you actually? Step you. Brakwame, when we say oh my who issue check and will be a won't you have tax also? But when you have obey your tax. So right from the word go, there's an underlying issue of unfairness. And above, here catch a buy say, look, what is that the bar? There's a saying in economics that a human being is supposed to be rational. Or you're rational nature sense. Or applying the mind, not change, and always looking for alternatives. And you know, what the behavioral economics virtues and profound behavior towards that particular task. Once there's an alternative, will change. It's mean to one or more. Almost someone say in India, giddy. You call court eventually, you call so continue the whole. It's a matter of public knowledge. And then, a very moment 24, courtesy Ghana's Prime Minister. A brother of the president, Mr. Gabi Asari Portredako. And the ability just say, a buyer project is by this time, Omenya 600 billion Ghana cedis. Now, you can say, he lives more, only 6 million Ghana cedis. Brother, when we say 60 million, no cry, and yes, 60 million, it's actually 54 million Ghana cedis. That's how much he lives at the upper and buying his papa. Look, right from the beginning, you can say, a baby should be now a baby. Let's go for an IMF program. Look, the recent election in Zambia, the president of Zambia, he went to the IMF. And IMF, a restructure of the public debt, among other things. And so they are on an IMF program. Look, the government of Sri Lanka, the Ocean CNN, no, things are getting bad. Take A, B, C, D steps. Today, look at the situation in Sri Lanka. Brakwame, and so what? You can't say, look, globally, one way or the other, there will be an impact. Now, Ghana needs our or no every. The Juma kakra. Who they should be the Okada rider? Wouldn't say they say, or the friend delivery services.
Delivery service.
Delivery service. Okada riders in the air. They be a man to defeat. We saw. For a day, Bremen. Or say, saying, 400 What do you say? Because the threshold is more than 100 cities now. Menya tia pe ile pepe. Obi o osiadenta. So ben Nigeria ba okanshi abeto ade. Osi okada rider. Ye na spare me. Oh ye no obetua ho e-levy. They say because of e-levy no, won't me ye bi. Inti okada rider no will be affected on the delivery service. The growth and those purchases the economy also will go down. It's no OSHA. There was no justifiable basis for the introduction of e-levy. And because I buy a year, my dream said, I said, IMF here, and I World Bank and now then for a program. And you see, the reason is very simple. I want to read something that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia Ekaye and Rana MPP a war opposition. But on my 2 minutes,
Okay.
March 24, 2015. What it here? Probably the most significant contributor to Ghana's current economic malaise is the ballooning and unsustainable public debt. Less than a decade after being granted HIPC relief to the tune of $4.2 billion. The debt relief obtained under HIPC and accompanying fiscal policy stance resulted in a significant reduction of the public burden. By the end of 2008, Ghana's total debt stood at $9.5 billion. In the last 6 years, however, the debt stock of public debt has seen a dramatic increase to $71.1 billion at the end of 2014. This is an increase in the debt stock by 700% over a period of 6 years, and it represents an average increase in the debt stock by 1116% a year. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia at the lecture, IMF bailout will the anchor hold. IMF bailout will the anchor hold. Distinguished Speaker Series, 24th March 2015. Brakwame, this is what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in 2015 or say. The problem is about the debt stock. Now let's ask ourselves a simple question. By the time our NUC Befia moved in 2016, December, Ghana's total public debt was in the region of 122 billion Ghana cedis. 122 billion Ghana cedis. Now, as CBR, the interest payments and amortization, you have 10 billion Ghana cedis to service our public debt, to pay maturing debt. But what happened? And now you know what I say. Our public debt had risen to 370 billion from 122. Where is Dr. Bawumia? And so now near you see 10 billion to service our public debt. That's debt, interest payments, amortization, and your money in our Mino Kasa and Nebra Farming. 2022 budget statement. Interest payments and amortization 45 billion from 10 billion in 2016 to 45 billion. Now, said your Brakwame, when you run an economy, we spend 45 billion Ghana cedis in a year. That's in excess of $8 billion. I would in some work interest any amortization 45 billion. Well, Kwame, how much money would you be left for capital expenditure projects? No, bien you say, in an economy, what grows the economy? Investment in capital expenditure. This economies be the thing that propel growth, stimulate growth, expenses in capital expenditure. Into share. On Mampini Joe Biden, every year Mampini. One of the things are Odiaba. This infrastructure bill or the buy now on 13 Republicans voting in support of it. And by this legislation, upon pay almost $2 billion just to build bridges, build roads, build all those things. Because the more you invest in critical infrastructure, that is what propels growth in the economy. That's what I can say. I see Abaya project to say, Sika Obenya from your tax revenue is about 100 billion Ghana cedis. That's you, 100 billion. Who use 45 billion on interest payments and amortization. Also use another 33 billion on salaries and emoluments. And I also use another 26 billion on statutory payments. NHIS, Sanyomano. Into only just 3 line items at the Boma, your total tax revenue is swallowed. How do you run an economy to this point? Where is Dr. Baumia? Back when we say we're January economics, they say Gabi is the one doing the economic analysis for Baumia. But you see, the reason why this is getting terrible for them.
What's it, Gabi?
Only the economic analysis needs to say for Dr. Baumia.
Oh, there be he has a mind of his own. He's a lawyer.
No, when we say Baumia, they say no, digitalization. No. Digitalization.
But other than young friend say Gabi di okan no. E yo no ana dwene ni opinion.
Dabi, no, when we say abani nyina no. Unim animal farm, squilla. Black family.
Meet you.
Animal farm. The squilla.
The squilla, yeah. By George Orwell.
Yes. When we say only the spin doctor for the whole way.
Yes, the squilla, yeah.
When we say abiding in no, Gabi only the spin doctor, the master proprietor.
We no one adia mano and say ususu what is and adia bay.
Oh, Black family, that is the work he does for government. His speed.
Unofficially.
When we say only official position, official spokesperson for government, Kujo Pon Kroma. What you say? But the real Wenankasano, the directing mind, the board of directors, the shareholder Nankasano, Gabi. On the camp, when we say, what's the public conversation on the IMF conversation? But now crash or IMF. And then Black and old friend Yaminia Gideon Wako. Now can see over the interview Bamia on the office as to whether government will go to the IMF or not. Bamia Kata, you won't talk. But when you be a Gabi Kai, Gabi be so no question. Or say going to the IMF, is it bad? In or no answer, or say no. Basically telling government, look, we are coming to our wit's end. Baby and your we may end up going to the IMF in an ambulance. And when we say Black family, I'm piano. Only part of the who are 2 ways of going to a hospital. Whether you walk to the hospital, the doctor will treat you and you go back home, or you go in an ambulance. A buying opportunity say on other nante ako IMF. And I say a buying back in an ambulance. Now, Sebio, you do go hospital too in an ambulance. It means a emergency. And yes, sir. Now, a buying have gotten to the point. Utie Gabi and Ra, or see, government may not be able to pay salaries without borrowing.
Oh, yes.
This is very serious.
But say, Obibeka said Bretton Woods institutions and the IMF for that matter, no, we are partners, a member. Eti ye wuchi ye ne kwakwa yi ska se nyina ye contribute to that pity.
Why did we demonize it in the past?
Enya se eno se nye se wo kwa na wo kọ. You must go with a plan.
Yeah. What I will say, won't you prako now? But I will say, prako find the open.
Obo okwa wa nwi but ne nan ne de owe.
Now, I can't say.
Madam will be a friend Chrematin. Na oko SD. Ba pork be de full body in the onwe but ne nan ne de. Ne nan so we de free abrochi aba no nko an.
Wow, look. And but the same prako na ba
But wait for abrochi.
But black man, one more menka be in show. What do we say? Because of government's failure to go to the IMF, no menka be in show. The ripple effect. There's no confidence in the economy. When we say investors, and what they almost measure the confidence level in an economy by looking at certain indicators. And then inflation is almost 30%. 30%. The highest in the last 20 years. The highest in the last 20 years. Public debt. Okay, the debt to GDP ratio, we are doing almost 83%. Menkai the last time, your debt to GDP ratio is do 83% da. And then we can say the depreciation of the cedi has gotten to the point where over $1 would near 8.25. 8.25. In fact, dollar now breaking the 8.
Okay, FM. 101.
Dollar now are breaking the 8. We near over 8 cedis just to get $1. It has never happened before. Now, because of the depreciation of the cedi, no, even though crude oil, a barrel of crude oil is going for $100, and Bloomberg, I can say, it will remain the same for the entire year. So what it means in say, the price of crude will remain the same for the entire year. However, the depreciation of the cedi, between January to now, petrol prices have increased from 6 Ghana cedis per liter to almost 14 Ghana cedis per liter. A big sector. And the problem is not Russia, Ukraine. The problem is simple. The depreciation of the cedi. And you see, you need investor confidence in the economy. When we say at the beginning of this year, not the Anaken of Oriata Ayan and they say, Onibamia, on the year, chairman of economic management team, any finance minister, they're not more than they say, I think be on the Eurobond market. Normal Borosika. Now, so what Borosika now? In 2017, Omoko Ken Bond, the Omokoji of Franklin Template in Honor. Omokoji $2.25 billion. Sensikano, Omudi provided artificial support for the city. It is a creative semblance. Say the city is strong. 2018, and almost call for another €3 billion bond. 2019, and almost call for another $2 billion euro bond. COVID buy, and almost call for another €2 billion bond. 2021, and almost call for another $3 billion. It in all, no, euro bond in Kwa Omaji, Sebi, within 5 years, a $13.5 billion. Brafame. 2022, and Omuyo Omaji said, almost a year euro bond. Unfortunate for them, unfortunate for Ghanaians, you know. In a Standard & Poor, in a rating agencies, you know, the other rating agencies no almost downgraded Ghana. It's almost downgraded Ghana. No, it became difficult for the government to go back to the Eurobond market because at that point, borrowing will be so expensive. If the government had no other option, and I see they now started going back. So you can see the connection between the mismanagement of the economy and the hardship Ghana for go through today. It is a Gabi. And Yabetu was say, Nanado Danko Kupado, Dr. Baum, Kenoforiata, that Abusiama Omo ko IMF. They should be in hurry. Because the situation, yes, Brakwame.
But I know I mean, the enemy slow back on said that is my fear. Say, Oko IMF conditionalities no a baby.
No, Brakwame. What are the conditionalities?
There will be a freeze on employment. No, there will be these. There will be that.
Even when NDC went to the IMF, we negotiated that security, health, education should be exempted from the freeze. It was sure. Even under the IMF program, we were still employing teachers. Even under the IMF program, we were still employing nurses. Even under the IMF program, we were still employing persons into the security agencies. So it is not correct. It is all about.
But question is, must we decide to go to IMF when we can cut spending?
No, Brakwame. The issue of expenditure cut, I explain to you, sir. This year, TNEU, this year, interest payment alone is 45 billion. Can you cut down on it?
Mm-hmm.
Can you decide, sir, you are cutting down on your interest payments and amortization?
No.
Now, 26 billion for statutory payments. Can you cut down on it?
There be.
Sika Odebeko NHIS. Can you cut down on it?
Mm-hmm. There be.
Now you have 33 billion less for salaries and emolument. Public sector worker Ben now cutting a salary.
Eti mo sekamu wa bemu. What would you do differently?
Look, there are lots that can be done differently. First of all, like I indicated to you, your borrowers, the Paris Club of Borrowers, you can meet them, okay, and work out 45 billion now was spending on borrowing. They can renegotiate even the interest for you. Okay? You can renegotiate the interest payment. What do we say? If we are able to even renegotiate interest payment reduction of even 10 billion Ghana cedis, do you know the impact it will have on the economy? One, live, school feeding. You go to them and tell them, say, listen, the way I change, sometimes sharing ideas with them become difficult. You go to them, sit down with them and say, look, we want a reduction on our interest. Now, if you reduce the interest for us, we will not use it on certain expenditures. We are going to move it directly into social intervention and you monitor the disbursement for us. So, for instance, also, school feeding caterers arrest the whole. Livelihood empowerment against poverty arrest at the whole. Health insurance arrest the whole. Roads contractors arrest the whole. Get fund arrest the whole. So what do? Also, say 10 million crown out of for giving this amount. We want you to appoint a manager, more like a fund manager. Obe monitor, say this amount of money. So this money will go here, will go here, will go here, will go here. The white man, Obronina all who says he cannot or the no. Sebio. Oh, like you are not using it for chichinga. But Omekne who said you are using it into poverty alleviation programs and interventions. All have a problem with you. Their own person who say, or no one forgive you or no. Now, office of the government machinery, Guano. Allocation to that office alone is almost 3 billion Ghana cedis. The white man will not be happy with you. Two, the white man will not be happy with you when he realizes that woman penny ever flying luxury jet, 3-bedroom. Ever plane, no man penny or damn family. Now, Utia 20,000 euros every hour. Beer. The white man will not be happy with you. So these are basic things that will make me here to relieve you. Only on interest payments, 45 billion. Now, you, how much do we owe road contractors in this country? 8 billion. That's what I mean. When we say you're not 8 billion near the road contractors, do you know the excitement that will come into this economy? Because road contractor, Uchiana, Obako Tuya cement. So cement distributor Benya Nesika. Obetia store bender. Obetia engineer. Obetia all these people within the value chain. Or that ecosystem. That is how you grow an economy. Onipana Obeto is auto iron rod. So all these people will benefit. Then you stimulate economic growth. The problem of this economy, as I speak to you, is liquidity. Because we are shipping it away 45 billion this year outside Yedikutia debt. That is where the problem is coming from. If we are able to re-engineer even the interest on the loans, the interest on our public debt, or even negotiate for a staggering of the interest payments. That's why I know what is here. When we say, say a bank engineer raising $2 billion by the end of July, will default on our loan. When we say, say a bank engineer raising $2 billion.
A bank engineer raising $2 billion.
$2 billion.
Ah, the other day.
What do maturing liabilities?
Wow.
Yes, maturing liabilities.
About $2 billion.
$2 billion before the end of July.
Ah, me back me bo. Asma wo can ye 1 month in term.
1 month in term.
Now one was ye ntia e ba be che o man nyina kwa na.
No, it means say what the cat no ntia. E what the essence of penalties. Ube started to have penalty. 2, you can even be blacklisted. It's no joke. It's a okaya. Me no okaya is here. Can no for yata.
Ah, you better be a blacklist here.
Yes.
Say
You be blacklisted.
I say.
You're blacklisted. It means say obia nobody will be willing to do business with you as a government. Who you be you're dead.
OKFM.
Your interest payment and the principal which means your interest which means you.
Ah, say e bi na to Russia for no.
Ukraine they say Kroma find a way out because the ruble is becoming very strong. China is buying their petrol in volumes. And as you say, almost I can say the payment should not be done in dollars. It should be done in ruble. So it is giving the Russian ruble enough strength.
Okay.
When we say China, the consumption is huge, over 1.something billion. So you can imagine their fuel consumption.
Sure.
And so they are providing ready markets for Russian oil. Instead of one with the war in Ukraine is not really now affecting Russia per se. Because they are getting the Chinese to buy their way. But yet, no, then you war. Me no can say Keno Furiata. A war. Banks, why syndicated banks are offer $1 billion agency.
Okay.
Now some of the revelations are urban. You know, you weep for this country, but I don't know. I'll leave it for your ranking member on the finance committee in the coming days to address the press. I don't want to, take the wind out of his sail for the time being. But the point is that the current economic situations are here home. Abro 1980s. So look, the situation is precarious. And as some media too, I want one person in MPP to contradict the fact that media trigger. Each one of them is what it is. And you see, we've gotten to the point where, and like Gabby said, if we want to restore confidence, investor confidence into the economy, then we need a more drastic approach. And you see, crisis determines leaders. How you manage a crisis determines the kind of leader that you are. Look, Emrana H. John Dramani Mama, Obia Jamaica, Sebio. Dumso, start here before John Mahama Bayer Mampini. Sebi, 2007, Yena Mudia Corso, Emma, a bank toy machines in Inkikaho, a software, a core, a Kosombo dam, a cobom pies, and you better more. You bet me your electricity issue. In an 80 John Dramani Mama, about the time of Beba. Gas pipeline and air supply fuel for the various thermal plants. Now ship at here the pipeline. 2 engineers are called from class to do the welding. Almost with a true gas explosion, among other things. This was the crisis he inherited. But there was not one time H. John Dramani Mahama now can say, my predecessor, and I say, Kujo Ama, or say, yes, it's true. I've come to inherit the problem. But as a leader, Ojina Parliament, or say, I will fix it. Crisis shows the kind of leader that you are. Wouldn't we say, but for John Mahama, intervention in the energy sector would have been in Doomso by now. Ameri, Car Power, AXA, all of those interventions. And they are buying you cry sending a year contract extension on most of these power purchase agreements. The point I'm making is that when there are crises, right, that is not the time.
Okay.
As a leader, who may blame Russia, COVID, Ukraine,
okay.
COVID. No.
It
comes a time, it makes me use you with videos. Dr. Baumia, do a press conference, assure the investor community of the measures that you are putting in place as the chairman of the economic management team to reverse the current economic challenges. That's it.
That's lawyer Edudzi Tamakloe and demand former President Mahama.
OKFM 101.7.